So I'm setting appointments on every single one, and this is what we're all doing. We're setting appointments, and then we're having a second call for the close or like the product explanation, education session, and then we're getting people covered, right? Really simple. First call, if they're at work, if it's if they're rushing me off the phone, if they're kind of laid back, relaxed, I'm gonna mirror that energy. I'm gonna mirror their attitude. If I can get more into the process, ask medical questions, figure out how much their loan is, ask them some questions about their monthly payment, their income, I'll do that. But if someone's like, hey man, I'm at work, this isn't a good time, I'm like, no worries. First call is just make sure we got the right person on the phone. Looks like we do. Looks like we got you in Florida. Is that right? And you're 62 years young. Perfect. Okay. Now, what time makes more sense for a second call? Most people that I work with are home about 5 or 7 o'clock. Is that when you're home? Right. That's what I'm going to say. I'm acting like it's right. That's exactly why I call to set up a second time. Right. So it's all everything that they say, I'm just kind of like rolling with. They're very high intent, whether it's the internet leads or it is the mailers. They're very high intent. So once you get a mailer back, once you get an internet lead back, they know what it is. There's not a lot of confusion. It's why they cost, if you do the math, I think it's like $40 a lead or whatever. Because they know what it is. They know that they filled it out. They know, they had to go through a long process. If it's a mail card, they're literally filling it out with their hands and a pen. They're writing it out, and then they're walking that thing out to the mailbox. They're sticking it in the mail, and they're putting a little flag up on the mailbox, and that thing's getting put in the mail, right? Some mailers have QR codes where they'll scan something, they fill out a bunch of their info, and then it gets virtually sent to you. Internet leads, there's a 10-step fill out with our strong point leads. There's a 10-step fill out process. And so what happens is they are literally filling out all of their information, and then they get a 4-digit text code that's going to be going from the company sending them a text message to input a 4-digit code back into the request that's verifying that it is the correct person. So they're very high intent no matter which way you go. So they're expensive, but they're well worth the money if we can do this process correct. The main thing with these people is we need to educate them. It's very logical for them to get something. They're very aware of that. They're like checking it out, right? So they're very interested. With the internet leads, they're going to watch a video as well that explains what the concept is of mortgage protection. And it's our job to follow it up with education, making them understand that it's comfortable for them. And again, everyone's situation is going to be different. We're using our resources that we have as an agent to find a solution for them. That doesn't mean that everybody gets a CBO 100 policy. That doesn't mean that everybody gets a term 100 policy. That doesn't mean that everyone's going to get the same program, right? So it's important that as you're getting started in this, you're open-minded, you're working with your mentor, you're trying to figure out exactly what you need to do to make adjustments to your we'll call it a pitch, your close, your presentation, because everyone's situation is going to be different. Some people just want to make sure that they're saving money. They don't have a ton of money to spend. They might make $10,000 a month, but have $8,000 in expenses every month, right? They might not be comfortable spending $500 a month on a policy. So we might lean towards equity protection concept, and we might write a whole life policy, right? Because that makes more sense financially than writing a term policy at that age, right? So we'll walk through some of these scenarios at the end. I want to share my screen, and I want to go over my this script that I'm going to be uploading in VT. This is something that I've been tweaking a ton lately, and this is the final version of it that I feel very comfortable with giving to all you guys. It's super, super simple. It's working like a charm for me. It is making me, it's getting me tons of sales. So here's what we have. Pretty basic. It's going to be simple process of an appointment set, right? If I can get through all of this, I'm going to do it. Medical questions is kind of like, once I get there, I'm like, okay, I'm going to set an appointment. Now, setting an appointment, sometimes, I was talking to Jimmy and we were talking about this, how like, sometimes these people are home and like they could have a conversation right then and there. I have not had a lot of success just going for it all the way right there. I think there's a psychological thing about setting the appointment. It feels more professional. I send them a photo that I made on Canva. that has a photo of me. It's got my national producer number on it. Some of the companies that we work with, I'll send you guys a photo of that. I'll show you guys that in a second. But it's just more professional. It just makes it feel more real. So like I think that there's a benefit in setting the appointment. Now my numbers, and I think for a lot of us, they're really similar for setting appointment wise. It's we get leads, right? I think a lot of us are booking about 70 to 75% of our leads for appointments, and about 50% of those are showing, maybe a little bit more. So that's pretty good with numbers wise. So if I get 100 leads in like the course of a week or 2 weeks or whatever the case is, I'm gonna have that means that I'm going to book appointments with about 70 and then about 35 will show, right? That's the first time around. I might do some follow-ups, get in front of 10 more of those. And about half of those I'm closing on that first presentation, or a follow-up call to get on another call with them. Some of these are taking 3 calls. What I've learned is not to present unless the decision maker is there. What I mean by that is like, there might be a husband and a wife, and the husband makes more money, but I'm presenting all the information to the wife. Well, she's not going to make the decision on which option. So I want them both to be there, or I want to at least talk to the husband. So it's important to make sure that we're getting in front of the right person. Now, with my appointment set, I'm going to set it with whoever. It's cool. I want to make sure they're both there. Hey, is there anybody, you'll hear me say on live dials, I just want to make sure that I have the right person. It looks like I have you in Arizona and you're 60 years old. Is that right? Yes. Okay, perfect. And is it just you in the home? Yes, it's just me. Cool. Then I know I can set the appointment with just them and their availability. If they say, no, it's me and a spouse, or they have a beneficiary as a spouse, I'll say, okay. And, are you guys both working, retired, or disabled? If they say working, I say, got it. Most of the people that I work with are both usually home, sitting down, able to grab a pen and paper and able to take some notes for me about 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. Is that about when you're going to be home and you guys are both going to be available to be able to speak? Yeah. Okay. Which one of those 3, 6, 7, or 8, right? I'm asking closed-ended questions. Yes or no, 6, 7, or 8, 6 or 7, 6:30 or 7, right? Pick one, choose one. I want to get them both there. So that's really important for the appointment. Again, if they're rushing me off at the beginning, cool. It's no worries. I just wanted to make sure I have the right person on the phone. Looks like I have you in the state of Arizona. Is that right? Yes. Okay, perfect. Most people I work with are home, sitting down, able to write something with their family about 6 o'clock at night. Is that when you're going to be home with your husband? Looks like you had listed as a spouse here on your beneficiary. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Right. And then I'm just moving on real quick. Try to confirm the time twice, 2, 3 times. Awesome. Set that appointment. Now, if you can get some questions in, awesome, right? These are just good, like just gathering info, just kind of like loading up the slingshot with some information. Now, medical questions, if we can get here, awesome. If not, it's no big deal. The one call that we have in Lightspeed that I did, it's like starting off basically from the tippy top because the person was like, hey, I'm at work, I can't talk. And I'm like, no worries at all. Set the appointment, get on the phone. I did the fact finding right there. I did the medical questions right there. Like it's this whole process. I'm just mixing into one call. Totally cool. Whatever we can do, right? We know that show rate's going to be somewhere between 50%, 65% is like the range that I've seen. I've had days where everybody shows up to their appointments too, but like it's just kind of in that mix, right?